Thank you so much, Steve. The Washington Post drawing attention to an old article on now Vice President Mike Pence after one of its reporters tweeted this: Mike Pence never dines alone with a woman, not his wife. Or does he attend events with alcohol without her by his side? Well, the left wasted no time attacking the vice president on social media. Philip Sherburne tweeted this: so the GOP is up in arms over Sharia law, yet Mike Pence won't have a business meal with a woman that's not his wife. Sure, that checks out. The editor-in-chief of Mother Jones said if Pence won't eat dinner alone with any woman but his wife, that means he won't hire women in key spots. So when did having values become a bad thing? Here to weigh in on this is senior editor of The Federalist, Molly Hemingway. Thank you so much, Molly, for being with us. I read your article. You have some excellent points. Tell the viewer at home that hasn't read basically what your thoughts are on this.
Yeah, well, it says something about Washington, D.C., that it's not couples who are unfaithful that draw attention, but couples that do. Here you have a marriage that has lasted for many decades, that has been not just successful, but very intimate and close, and they have guidelines that they have set up. No dinners alone, no boozing it up unless the spouses are together. And a lot of people were genuinely, truly upset. It almost boggles the mind that people could be upset about, some simple guidelines for how to have a successful marriage.
This was his original quote, Molly. He wrote back in 2002, if there's alcohol being served and people are being loose, I want to have the best looking brunette in the room standing next to me. I mean, as a woman, if my husband said that, I would be so honored, and I would be glad that he's protecting our marriage.
Well, and again, everyone's going to have different guidelines, and this is theirs. But a lot of people were saying that this is somehow sexist, that he won't, again, booze it up with a woman who's not his wife. It's also a way to show tremendous amount of respect for the most important woman in your life, which is your wife.
I did talk to some of his staffers yesterday, and they were saying that was in 2002. That was in the beginning of his political career when he was a congressman. That was during the Gary Condit scandal. And also, he does hire, remember the tweet I read at the beginning about does he hire women in key spots? They said that his deputy chief of staff is a female, national security advisor is a female, her top deputy is a female, and the director of intergovernmental affairs is a female, and so is her top deputy.
He's actually known for having a bunch of females on staff and for women who are very happy to have worked for him and also who are promoted and go on to really great things. And also, a lot of members of Congress have to leave Congress because they don't have these guidelines that help them keep their marriage faithful. And I mean, even Mark Souder, who was a congressman from Indiana, had to leave because he had had an affair with a staffer. These things happen. And I think most people know nobody intends to cheat on their spouse, but it happens. It can happen when you have a close work relationship. And so if you're a smart person who cares about your marriage, you will set up some barriers.
And alcohol can lower your inhibitions. You wrote this. You said all these people mocking Pence for the protections that he puts on his behavior must not know the people that I know or suffer the temptations I face. They must not read the headlines about marriages ending due to infidelity. I have far too many friends who found their inhibitions lowered by alcohol and distance from their spouse. The end result of their lapse in judgment has in some cases been the destruction of their marriage. So what does the left, what do they want? Do they want him at strip clubs? Do they want him putting himself in bad positions?
Well, that's what's so interesting, is particularly after the year that we just went through, where you had, presidential candidate who got in a lot of trouble for the way he talked about women, and you had, Bill Clinton, who had so many troubles with how he handled himself in the White House. You would think that people would want people to have a little bit more respect and think about how they carry themselves. It just doesn't. I mean, it almost is amazing that you would have this be a controversial thing, given how rare it is to see people who actually just treat their spouses well and care about their marriage.
Yeah, well, a lot of people look up to him as a role model. I know a lot of evangelicals do, and I just hats off to him for treating his wife. It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Molly, for being with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.